Ruth Maria and welcome to SC Global News. From the Holy Father's intention to start writing his first encyclical to the restoration of Fra Angelico's 600-year-old masterpiece, we have many stories to cover. Pope Leo XIV is currently at Castel Gandolfo for his summer retreat, where he plans to begin writing his first encyclical. Father Alejandro Morel, the General Prior of the Augustinian Order and one of the Pope's closest friends, recently shared in an interview that the Pope will use his time at Villa Barbani to outline the main framework of the text. Pope Leo XIV is set to begin writing his first encyclical during his summer rest at Castel Gandolfo. Father Alejandro Morel, General Prior of the Augustinian Order and one of Pope's closest friends, recently said in an interview with Il Messaggero that the Pope would use the time at Villa Barbani to develop the main structure of the text. Father Morel also speculated that the encyclical could be related to themes such as peace, social doctrine, unity, and artificial intelligence, which Pope Leo emphasized since the first hours of his election. Father Alejandro Morel said in an interview that he was very happy when Pope informed him about the summer break at Castel Gandolfo. According to him, Pope Leo is accustomed to readily taking on responsibilities and sharing burdens and is inclined to work tirelessly. As an Augustinian prior, he used to be the first to enter the chapel for morning prayers and stayed up night working. Pope Leo is staying at Villa Barbani rather than the historic Apostolic Palace, which is now a museum. Father Morel said that Pope's stay at Villa Barbani offers a space he needed to rest and prepare for a busy fall, including Jubilee commitments, new appointments, travels, and writing of the encyclical. Pope Leo arrived at Castel Gandolfo on July 6th and is expected to stay until July 20th, with public appearances limited to Sunday Mass and Angelus prayers on July 13th and July 20th. Ahead of this year's Jubilee Year celebration for World Day of Grandparents and the Elderly on July 27th, Pope Leo XIV reflects that hope is a constant source of joy, regardless of our age. In his message for the day, he offers a scriptural meditation on the process of aging and goes on to further to encourage the elderly to hold on to hope, emphasizing that even in old age, everyone remains capable of love and prayer. Pope Francis instituted the World Day of Grandparents and the Elderly, which will be observed this year on July 27th. Pope Leo XIV has shared a message of hope with the elderly, encouraging the faithful to recognize that hope is an enduring source of joy regardless of age. He cited the examples of several elderly biblical figures, including Abraham and Sarah, Moses and Zechariah, whom the Lord surprised with the act of saving power. God consistently shows his providential care by reaching out to people in their later years, he explained. The Pope pointed out that through these choices, God is teaching us that, in his view, old age is a time of blessing and grace, and the elderly are in his eyes the foremost bearers of hope. The Holy Father noted that welcoming and valuing the elderly reminds us that the life is about more than the present. It shouldn't be spent on shallow interactions or temporary connections. Rather, life continually guides us towards the future. He also highlighted that while the elderly may rely on the energy of the young, it is just as true that the young need the wisdom and experience of elders to shape the future with insight and understanding. In the spirit of the Jubilee year, the Holy Father called on the faithful to break through the walls of indifference and to offer themselves in service, helping to prevent feelings of loneliness and abandonment among the elderly. Pope Leo XIV addressed grandparents and elderly, urging them not to lose hope, especially in those times when they might feel inclined to focus on the past rather than the future. The pontiff reminded them that there is a freedom within us that no hardship can take away, the freedom to love and to pray. He also remarked that the love we feel for those dearest, whether it's our spouse with whom we have shared so much our lives, or our children and grandchildren who bring joy to our days, doesn't diminish diminish as our strength fades. The Pope encouraged them to pass on the faith they have lived for so many years, both within families and through their daily interactions with others. He urged them to always praise God for His goodness, to foster unity with their loved ones, and to open their hearts to those far away, especially to those in need. In doing so, he said, they would become living signs of hope regardless of their age. Taipei, the last entirely Christian town in the West Bank, is facing increasing threats from Israeli settler attacks. In a joint statement, the town's priests condemned the recent arson targeting sacred sites and called for urgent international intervention. They warned that Taipei's ancient Christian heritage dating back to the Gospel times is now at a serious risk of being erased.
The priests of Taipei, the last entirely Christian town in Palestine, issued a joint statement on Tuesday, July 8, condemning repeated attacks on the town's residents and property by Israeli settlers illegally occupying nearby land. The statement, signed by clergy from the Greek Orthodox, Latin and Melkite Greek Catholic churches, calls on local and international authorities to take urgent action to prevent further violence. The statement follows a July 7th arson attack that targeted Taipei Cemetery and the historic 5th century Church of St. George. According to the priest, the fire could have caused devastating damage had it not been for the vigilance of local residents and the swift response of the firefighting teams. The clergy alleged that Israeli settlers have been illegally occupying land on the town's eastern outskirts, where most of Taipei's agricultural activity takes place. The settlers reportedly allowed their cattle to graze on these lands, threatening the livelihood of the local community, many of whom have deep ancestral ties to the land dating back to the time of Christ. This statement recalls that Taipei, known in the Gospel as Ephraim, is believed to be the place where Jesus withdrew his disciples before his passion. The priests warned that this enduring spiritual and cultural legacy, preserved faithfully by the people of Taipei across generations, is now at serious risk of erosion and displacement due to the systematic targeting of land, sacred places, and the local community. They issued an urgent appeal to consuls, ambassadors, and church representatives to launch an immediate investigation into the recent arson and ongoing assaults on property, apply diplomatic pressure on relevant authorities to hold settler activities, dispatch international and church delegations for on-site assessments, and support the people of Taipei through economic and agricultural initiatives. The priests added that forcibly removing farmers from their land, threatening their churches, and encircling their towns is a wound to the living heart of this nation.
The Vatican St. Peter's cricket team has successfully concluded up their 11th Light of Faith tour in England. Over the course of the tour, the team played 6 matches, winning 4 and losing 2. Throughout the tour, the Vatican St. Peter's cricket team has highlighted the power of sports in bridging cultures, fostering mutual understanding, and strengthening international relations. The Vatican St. Peter cricket team has wrapped up their 11th Light of Faith tour of England with a 55-run victory against the Church of England 11 at the renowned Kent Cricket Ground. Over the course of their tour, the team played 6 matches, securing 4 wins and 2 losses, making for a highly successful and engaging series. However, the tour was about more than just cricket. It served as a unique platform for fostering diplomatic relations and promoting interfaith dialogue between the Vatican and the United Kingdom. One of the highlights of the visit was a warm reception at the UK Parliament, where Speaker Sir Lindsay Hoyle personally welcomed the team. The gathering provided an opportunity for meaningful discussions on the role of faith and values in public life, emphasizing the critical importance of moral principles in shaping international relations. In addition to that, the team also celebrated Holy Mass at the historic Canterbury Cathedral with the Apostolic Nuncio to the UK, Archbishop Miguel Mori Buendia. The moment of spiritual unity not only highlighted the religious aspect of the tour, but also underscored the shared values of faith, brotherhood, and unity that transcend borders. Throughout their visit, the Vatican St. Peter's cricket team demonstrated the unique power of sports as a bridge between cultures, fostering mutual understanding and promoting goodwill. Their tour has made a significant contribution to the diplomatic relations between the Vatican Vatican and the UK, showcasing how sports can serve as a powerful tool for international cooperation. The Vatican team expressed deep gratitude to their hosts, including the Church of England 11, Kent Cricket Ground, and the UK Parliament for their hospitality and support. They also acknowledged the opportunity to engage with the British public, sharing messages of hope, faith, and unity. As the team departs England, they carry with them not only the memories of their successful matches, but also a strengthened bond with their British counterparts. This marks another milestone in the relationship between the Vatican and the UK as they look forward to future collaborations that will continue to emphasize faith, brotherhood, and unity across borders. In a decade-long journey of resilience and education, the Catholic University in Erbil, Iraq, is celebrating its 10th anniversary. Established in the aftermath of conflict and displacement, the university has grown into a beacon of opportunity for young people, especially Christians and minorities. The Catholic University in Erbil, located in the Kurdistan region of Iraq, is preparing to celebrate its 10th anniversary this year. Vatican News reported on July 10 that the institution was founded in 2015 to provide higher education for Christians and displaced youth following the ISIS crisis. Father Karam Shamasha, Vice Rector of CUE, told Vatican News that the university has started with just 250 students but now serves over 1,200 from different ethnic and religious backgrounds. He noted that classes are offered in English to ensure international standards. The initiative was reportedly supported by the local Chaldean Catholic Church and funded by global partners, including the Italian Episcopal Conference. Scholarships are a significant factor in making formal study accessible to at-risk communities. According to Vatican News, new plans include launching a Faculty of Sciences and building an in-campus hospital to support medical and public health. Father Shamasha emphasized that the institution aims to form learners not only academically but also morally, nurturing future leaders for Iraq. The university's mission was described as both educational and peace building, offering hope to a region healing from war and sectarian violence. The past decade of CUE reflects determination in a place recovering from conflict. A total of 119 Afghan refugees arrived in Rome on July 10 from Islamabad as part of the Humanitarian Corridors Initiative. The group included families and individuals who had fled Afghanistan in August 2021 following the Taliban's return to power.
A flight from Islamabad carrying 119 Afghan refugees arrived at Rome's Fiumicino airport on 10th July, Vatican News reported. The flight, offered by the Solitaire, was part of the Humanitarian Corridors Initiative, an effort led by the community of sgnews in partnership with the Italian government and civil society groups. According to Vatican News, the group included families and individuals who had fled Afghanistan in August 2021 following the Taliban takeover. Since then, they have been living in unstable conditions in informal settlements in Islamabad with little access to stability or long-term support. Sant'Egidio confirmed it would accompany those displaced during their integration into Italian society, offering housing, language lessons, education, and job assistance. The organization emphasized that the project is not just about relocation, but long-term inclusion. Following the fall of Kabul, many Afghans who escaped to neighboring countries have remained stranded, largely overlooked by the global community. This recent arrival is part of a broader relief effort. So far, the solidarity-based mission, entirely self-funded and backed by religious and non-profit partners, has safely brought over 8,500 vulnerable individuals to Europe. Organizers see it as a model of how compassion and policy can work together to offer lasting solutions.
A lesser-known fresco by the early Renaissance artist Fra Angelico has been restored at the convent of San Domenico in Fiesole, located just northeast of Florence, Italy. The crucifixion, created in the first half of the 15th century, is now once again on display following a careful restoration that repaired centuries of damage, concealment, and decay. A 600-year-old crucifixion fresco by Fra Angelico has been restored to its original splendor thanks to the support of a US non-profit organization, Friends of Florence. The artwork portraying the crucifixion of Christ was carefully restored at the convent of San Domenico in Fiesole, near Florence, Italy. Fra Angelico, often called as the angelic painter for his heavenly use of color and light, was a trailblazer who connected the spiritual heritage of the Middle Ages with the artistic mastery of Renaissance. His works were not merely artistic creations, they were expressions of deep devotion crafted through prayer and sincere spiritual belief. The painting was indeed a pleasant surprise for Cristina Conti and Alessandra Popple, the restorers behind the project. Conti shared that the painting was hidden inside the convent, making it relatively unknown to the public. The crucifixion, painted in the early 15th century, was originally placed in a chapter house of the convent, intended to inspire prayer and contemplation among the Dominican friars. The painting features a composition that is both simple and deeply moving. Against a rich blue background, Christ is shown on the cross, his head gently bowed in a peaceful humility, evoking a sense of quiet meditation. For more of its history, the fresco remained hidden from public. It was once hidden behind a layer of white and wasn't discovered until the late 1800s by a Dominican priest, Raimondo Margini, who discovered the artwork, which was then restored during the 1880s. Despite additional restoration efforts throughout the 20th century, including major interventions by Dino Dini in 1950s and again in the 1980s, the fresco continued to suffer from deterioration caused by humidity, soot from the heating systems, and the impact of earlier restorations. The latest restoration relied heavily on scientific analysis to better understand Fra Angelico's methods. Experts determined that the fresco was completed over a span of 9 days. For the restorers, working on this masterpiece by Fra Angelico was more than a complex technical endeavor, it was profoundly a spiritual journey. Conti noted that the fresco carries an extraordinary spiritual presence. Its portrayal of Christ's sacrifice is both simple and deeply moving. The calm expression on Christ's face and the gentle tilt of his head evoke a sense of peace that goes beyond the physical realm. That's all for today. Until we meet again, God bless and thank you.